Following the career of Isambard Kingdom Brunel has brought me to the Llynfi Valley Railway. The Llynfi Valley Railway, says on the plaque, opened as a broad gauge railway on the 10th of August 1861, partly following the route of the horse-drawn Dufferin, Llynfi and Porthcawl Railway. The Llynfi Valley Railway was to greatly accelerate the industrial development and the economic growth of the townships of the Llynfi Valley. Engineer Isambard Kingdom Brunel, completed after his death by Robert Pearson Brereton, resident engineer, Captain McNair, who was working for Brunel, the latter engineer. And it's presented as a plaque by the Historical Society on the 150th anniversary of this railway. Now the internet plaque shows this to be in better condition and not crooked. This branch railway was the last branch line, the last line of railway that Brunel involved himself with. He was deeply embroiled and suffering with bad health as a result of building the Great Eastern, so he was spending a lot of his time in Millwall whilst this railway was in its embryonic stage. So what the formula of work was, Brunel would appoint a resident engineer who would conduct a preliminary survey. Brunel would appear, go over the line, checking all their survey, agreeing to where bridges, cuttings would be installed, and designs would be taken from his stock of designs at Duke Street. But on this line there's not much to see. For example, there's no heavy engineering such as any tunnels at all. At Tondu there's a picturesque bridge going across the river Llynfi, a stone bridge, and at Chute there's a bridge, a road bridge, an accommodation bridge going across the railway line. And also at Llangrid there is the remains of the ancient platform. And the end of the line is here at Maesteg, which is the head of the valley. And of course the land of the valleys is associated with mineral wealth. So a lot of coal and iron, mainly coal, was brought down from the mountains to be taken down to the coastline. And in South Wales, Brunel had built the main line going from England across to Chepstow all the way west to Milford Haven. And there were 3 branch lines, if I can remember. One was from Briton Ferry, one was in the Vale of Neath, and the third one was here at Llynfi Valley. Picturesque scenery. Brunel probably only came here once, but the line was finished after he died. And we need to mention the man who took over from Brunel, Robert Pearson Brereton. He was a very tall, big man compared to the short stature of Brunel. And what made him distinctive, he had an engineering accident and he had an eye patch over his eye. And he was working from Duke Street under the auspices of his wife and the engineers that were employed in Brunel's household after Brunel died. Pearson Brereton, he finished off the railway line from Paignton to Dartmouth, for example, long way from here, and he finished off this line, and he also raised one of the trusses at the Saltash Bridge. So Brunel has left his mark all over South Wales, and I'm very pleased that this plaque is here as a testimony to the presence of Isambard Kingdom Brunel.